Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As you all can tell from the title of my video, today I have another fantastic creation from Azman Perfumes, which is one of my favorite fragrance houses out there because of their very unique and artistic approach to creating fragrances. Very underrated house because their fragrances are truly phenomenal and very high quality. Now, as some of you guys might know, I already done review of 2 Minutes After Kiss, which is a very beautiful, unique rose and oud fragrance. And I also done a review of Majnun, which is just a true beauty, very underrated fragrance. It's just a masterpiece. I truly fell in love with this fragrance. It's such a smoky, beautiful pomegranate, coffee, and oud fragrance. It's just done to perfection. I never smelled anything like this before. And as I promised some of my subscribers, today I'm going to review Killer Vavoom. Now, in today's video, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Usually, I kind of prepare for the fragrance. I try it and I kind of know the notes and how they create the accords of the fragrance, and I kind of talk to the perfumer. But today I decided to kind of do a first impression for you guys, and without knowing what kind of notes there's in there, kind of tell you guys what I feel when I smell the fragrance. So let's spray this and see what we get. Killer Vavoom. God, this is really good. You see, this house is truly right up my alley. And again, it has a DNA to it. There's this like smokiness that I get from all the fragrances, which I love that when it comes to fragrances. And there's also this gourmand vibe to them, which they all have that. Like Majnun has a gourmand vibe to it, and Killer Vavoom has a gourmand vibe to it. But in such a sophisticated way, not in a childish way. It's not the type of gourmand that you're used to. It's not designerish type of gourmand. It's a very complex and classy, sophisticated type of a gourmand that you get. And this one, right off the bat, initially when you spray it, you get a big dose of chocolate. But the chocolate is definitely mixed with something very smoky. And I'm definitely going to look up the notes right now, but what I get is that it's something very chocolatey. It's definitely kind of floral and fruity at the same time. I'm going to try to guess the fruitiness. I would say I smell a little bit of like probably plum in there. And as far as like the floral goes, something white floral. And also rose. I believe there's definitely rose in here. There's probably white jasmine in here as well. But I get definitely plum in here as far as the fruitiness goes. I believe there's a little bit, or there's some osmanthus in here as well that I get. I get a little bit of leather, but it's not the leather fabric leather. It's more of smokiness. It's kind of smoky, so I don't know what it is. There's also a chypre vibe to it. I feel like there's a little bit of oak moss going on in here that I get. And I also smell some iris in this fragrance as far as the floral goes. There's some kind of a facets of iris going on, which is just so beautifully created or done in this fragrance. The way it's blended, it's just unbelievable. And I also get ambrette in here. What else do I get? It's very woody. As I said, it's floral. The type of floral that I said, I get iris. I get also white floral like jasmine. I also get rose in here as well. It's kind of sweet fragrance because of the chocolate. So I believe there's some vanilla in here as well. And there's the amber body to it. It also has a very interesting chypre vibe to it, which I think there's some oak moss at play as well. Very interesting because there's a little bit of earthy, foresty greenness in the background, which must be from oak moss. What else do I get? It's also very musky. I definitely get muskiness, and it's not your dirty musky. It's like that white clean musk to kind of balance out all these like heavy notes, the smokiness that I get in here. The chocolate is fading away. The iris is coming forward. There's this very familiar note that I hope that I'm correct, but I believe there's also osmanthus in here as well, which is very beautiful because there is this leathery vibe to the fragrance a little bit besides the smokiness. And I think osmanthus definitely creates that as well. So there definitely must be some leather and osmanthus in here, which they complement each other really nicely. There's, like I said, it's sweet, so vanilla, musk, as I said, ambrette, rose, maybe jasmine, some citrus in the opening, definitely some plum. So these are what I get. So let's look up and see what kind of notes we got. All right, let's see. Wow, I was right on a lot of it. So we definitely have chocolate as top notes. We have plum, we got bergamot. The chocolate faded already. We got ambrette, as I mentioned, muskmellow. We definitely have iris, osmanthus. We got jasmine, rose. As I said, musk. It's definitely very musky. It says amber, vanilla. I get that. Leather, oak moss. I didn't guess patchouli, maybe on the Drydown, but I get a lot of smokiness in here. So I didn't get the patchouli as much, so I missed the patchouli, but I guess most of them right. And the bergamot on the top, I said citrus. So not bad. And as far as the accords goes, let's see what they say here. They say it's very musky, and that's true. But I would say the biggest note is very smoky, to me at least. Like the smokiness, and it's interesting because initially when you spray it, when it lingers around, you smell the smokiness, but then when you initially spray it and when you bring it close, you smell that delicious chocolate right away. So it's definitely musky chocolate. It says it's sweet. It's definitely sweet, but it's very well balanced. So it's not cloying sweet because of that smokiness. I mean, it's just blended to perfection. It's definitely powdery. I do get that. It's floral. It's warm, spicy. It's fruity. They say it has leather in it. I don't get as much leather. I did get a little bit of leather, but not as much as smokiness. And I definitely smell the iris. And I smell that forest floral, the oak moss in there, which it hasn't been mentioned. There's no smoke mentioned in here, and the oak moss is not mentioned in here. They say earthy, so it can be from patchouli, but again, that's pretty much what I get as far as the accords of Killer Vavoom goes. All right, so I have the Drydown of Killer Vavoom, which I sprayed it yesterday. I thought it would be a great comparison to compare to freshly sprayed one. And when I smell the Drydown, I smell so many notes in here. Like I can definitely smell the iris. I can definitely smell the plum. The plum is very strong in this. Wow. Very beautiful. It's very fruity. It's actually more fruity than it's floral. And I have to say the, what is it? The rose, it's lemony. It's kind of sour. The chocolate fades away pretty quick. It lasted about 10 minutes or so. It fades away quickly. But yeah, it definitely has that leathery, smoky body to it, but I would say more smoky than leather. And to me, it's also very woody. I don't know why they didn't mention it's wood. It's very woody. That ambrette makes it very woody. There's a little bit of greenness with that woodiness and earthiness, especially on the Drydown. It's all about a dustiness and smokiness and earthy vibe of the fragrance. It's very musky when it dries down, and I think it's definitely from patchouli and the oak moss. there's not as much as greenness as I was expecting would happen in the Drydown. It's more like dry, woody, smoky, musky Drydown. And the iris, the chocolate, and the rose, they kind of fade away in the Drydown. So this is pretty much what I get, but I have to say this is truly a beauty, and I wasn't expecting this from Killer Vavoom. God, it's so well done. It's so creative and so artistic. So all in all, what you get with Killer Vavoom, it's definitely very musky, it's smoky, it's dusty, or I should say powdery. It's definitely chocolatey on the opening, very much so, very delicious. It's definitely sweet. It's fruity. It's more fruity than it's floral, but it's definitely floral as well. Did I mention powdery? The dustiness. Definitely you get a great dose of iris in here. It is kind of leathery, I would say, because of the osmanthus and the leather in here. They really complement each other really well in here. The osmanthus and plum definitely help to create this fruity and kind of almost borderline creamy aspect to it, which the creaminess is more powdery creamy that does with osmanthus. And then to me, it's also very woody. And I think the ambrette definitely does that. And it's sweet, as I mentioned, because of vanilla and that amber body to it. And again, it has a little bit of that chypre vibe to it as well, but not as much, in a very artistic, unique way. Again, it has a very unique structure to it, which makes it very artistic and unusual, which is a great thing because I love fragrances that are created outside the box, that are not kind of following the same path that everybody else does. So that's as far as what I get for Killer Vavoom. And that's it, you guys. That's all I have for Killer Vavoom by Azman Perfume. I would definitely suggest you guys to check out their website or their Instagram. They have some very phenomenal and artistic fragrances under their belt, not to mention the phenomenal noses behind these fragrances. And that's it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.